Observational studies in real-world settings can have many biases. The choice of data sources is major. In concrete terms, there are many possible sources of data, which can be classified into two main categories. First, primary data sources are collected prospectively in the field under the supervision of an investigator. They are collected for initial use and to specifically meet the objective of the study. A field study is conducted according to its own specific methodology, but with the same rigor and identical format as a randomized clinical study. For example, a protocol is defined and a specific questionnaire is developed to collect the data required for the study. The judgment criteria and population are clearly defined beforehand. This is the case for disease or drug registries, otherwise known as high-precision data. These data contain numerous clinical and medical variables on a defined population follow over time. The advantages of primary data sources are that they provide direct measurement of the variables of interest, endpoints, covariates, and so on, allowing for high-quality evaluation of medical endpoints. The limitations are implementation constraints, mainly selection and recruitment of participants, and very often these studies are not exhaustive. In particular, registries are limited by the size of the population, which varies according to the databases, or by the population studied, which does not always allow extrapolation of the result to the general population, and also by the potential existence of missing data. The second category is secondary data, which are data collected for an initial purpose and which are reused for purposes other than their first intended use. In France, one of the secondary data sources particularly used is the SNDS, Système National des Données de Santé. This database is exhaustive of the French population and lists many objective parameters. This database is a reimbursement database for care and services used by the health insurance system, called the Medical Administrative Database. It's one of the largest databases in the world and is highly prized for health research. The strengths are the exhaustiveness of the database, no selection problems or statistical power, the complete care pathway between the city and the hospital, and 50 years of data. The limitations are the absence of medical diagnostic data, no results of clinical, biological, or radiological examination, and so on, and the absence of questionnaire data directly collected by the patient, called patient report outcomes. We can also note an absence of data on treatments administered during an hospital stay and an absence of information on prescriptions, doses, duration of treatment, and so on. Note the particularity of registries classified as primary data, which can then be reused as secondary data for new research questions. As we have just seen, there are advantages and limitations associated with each data sources. In some cases, one solution is to enrich a data source with another data source. This is called linkage. For example, we can enrich SNDS data with data from a cohort for a rare disease containing clinical data and quality of life questionnaires. Whatever the source of data envisaged for the study, prior authorization are necessary to ensure the protection of personal data while offering scientific use of the data. Studies on primary data sources are usually carried out within the framework of the CNIL's reference methodologies. In some cases, they will be submitted to a committee for protection of individuals in charge of scientific and ethical evaluation, and then to the CNIL. Access to medical administrative databases is also regulated and strictly controlled and must be anticipated. For example, in France, several institutions are involved. The HDH, which is the first point of entry and manages the circuits, transmission to the CESRES for scientific and ethical assessment, then to the CNIL for the protection and personal data, and finally to the assurance maladie for the provision of data. This procedure also concerns primary study enriched by the SNDS. Thank you for your attention and see you soon!